You like, yeah?
Okay, it seems like we are live. It seems. Should
It
we double
seems.
check before?
Yeah, so we'll check before
Should
we
we
do the
double
whole
check
thing.
before we
Yeah,
do? 1 second. Um. mm, 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 mm. Okay. Well, it's weird. I'm not really seeing it. I'm not really seeing it on here. Let's refresh the page. Yes, we are live. We are live.
we're live.
20 seconds. Okay, good. So let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. This is Julian Mason from Adrenaline Combatives, and I'm here with Dan Butler
How we doing,
from
guys?
All
Okay.
Powers Gym, coach at
Good.
All Powers Gym, professional Muay Thai fighter. We got a lot of cool things to talk about today. So, Dan, do you want to start by giving us like a brief introduction of who you are? Go
hmm
for it. The stage is yours, bro.
So, yeah, my name's Dan. I see myself as just the average guy, but I've done Muay Thai for 16 years, and I started that when I was 10, and I'm now 26. So I started under Coach Panicos at All Powers, and
Yeah,
then in that time I've had loads of experiences, trips to Thailand, pro fights, wins, losses. I'm now a coach as well, so I coach one-to-one with my clients and stuff. And yeah, my journey's just really starting now. I've got a good baseline under me, so
yeah.
and I'm 26, so now I'm looking to like progress more in the fighting and like improve everything I'm doing. So yeah, Muay Thai has been obviously a huge part of my life. It's taught me loads of lessons and humbled me in many ways and built me up in many ways as well. And spiritually, it helps your mindset as a man to grow. And like the lessons that you learn in the gym and through fighting, you can try to transfer them into other
It,
things.
it, it does translate to life, innit? It's like
Mhm.
the punches and the kicks and the knees and the elbows that you receive is what life sends at you, and it's the
Yeah.
you treat it the same way, like adversity, how
hmm
you treat adversity and how you respond to it is pretty much
But
the same thing as when you step in the
yeah,
ring.
how I see it is you know, nowadays the world we live in is you know, it's a very easy world to live in, isn't it? Like, if you go back like 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, how we are really is still the same,
Hmm.
But obviously, things are is a lot softer now, especially for a man. You don't have to encounter much adversity in the world, you know.
Yeah,
Like, so that's why putting yourself under those like willful decisions to face like hardships and training and discipline, that's what we need. Because that's like when that's lacking, when you don't have discipline, it
yeah,
comes out in other ways, you know, and then you go down like the wrong paths and stuff. So like speaking personally about it, I found that when I've been away from like physical discipline and like martial arts and Muay Thai away from the gym, that's when I've like felt the least confident about myself, the least like strong in my mindset because like it's humbling as well that like no one is special. So
mm,
that's the beauty of it as well. If you try and try at something, doesn't matter who you are, you can get good at something. If you
yeah,
put the effort in, if you keep turning up, you can achieve whatever you want basically.
yeah,
But likewise, if you don't as well, then nothing's gonna happen.
yeah.
It's on us at the end of the day. So that's one of the biggest things that Muay Thai has taught me as well, is that the accountability side of things. Yeah,
So so
yeah,
let's talk about this. Let's talk about discipline. Let's talk about self-discipline, how you view self-discipline, how you think it should be applied, understanding that there's different people, different people,
yeah.
different mindset, different physical abilities, different health. Some people are healthy, some people are not that
Mhm.
healthy. Um, how do you go about being self-disciplined every day? And even we all know we have two voices. There's a voice in our head and there's a voice in our hearts, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And the voice in our head tends to be louder than the voice in our heart. and the voice in our head is always negative. Very often it's very negative unless
Mm,
you draw it from the heart, right?
mhm.
So every morning, for example, when you gotta go to train because you gotta push yourself. How do
Mhm.
you go? What would you say to the people that have got difficulties waking up in the morning to go to the gym, to go and get that shit done?
I think that you've got to do what makes you happy,
Mm,
and it's actually quite simple.
yeah,
You've got to do what makes you happy, and if you're unhappy, then you have to do something about it. You just have to. Otherwise, you're gonna waste your life. You're gonna waste your time.
yeah,
And when you know that, then you will start to change. But if you don't want to, then you're not going to. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? If
yeah,
you really, and that's what you have to understand is yourself. No one can tell you that. If you're not happy with what you're doing, if your routine's off, then you're gonna have to change it because you realize I need to. Yeah,
yeah,
you've had a realization that oh, I'm not where I want to be. I need to make a change, and that comes to people at different times in different ways,
yeah,
right? Because everyone's on a different path,
yeah,
and like no two people are the same, and no one's better than anyone else in that regard. We're all on that the same field, and that's why you got to stay humble with it as well. It's like with me, I've been through times where I've not been training. I felt like lack of motivation to do stuff. I'm
mm,
not special, but I've got a good network around me, and I've had a good pass of training that I've
yeah,
got a level of like discipline that I've developed, so I can apply that. But that discipline that I've developed is from years and years of
over
pushing through.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, over time, and that's the key thing as well. It's like, changes happen over time, not instantly.
yeah,
Because your head wants to tell you, like, I need everything now.
yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
You want
Yeah,
it's not any
your
different.
mind goes to the extreme and tells you all these things about where and then you don't remember that actually, what was I doing this time last week? And what happened since then. And then if I just do this for another week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months,
Yeah,
over time, and you're patient with it, yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like, as a coach, when I coach people, you have to be patient as a coach towards them, and then I have to tell them as well, you have to be patient because people look there, oh, why am I not perfect straight away when they've had like 3 sessions,
yeah,
you know? And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to do it about another 1,000 times and just be patient with it. And then it comes back to being happy and enjoying it.
yeah,
If you can find ways to enjoy the discipline and working hard, like overall, obviously, not every single second. I know it's hard when you're absolutely exhausted and you don't want to do something. But if you find ways overall to enjoy it because you understand the benefit of it, then you're
yeah,
going to keep coming back. And then when you keep coming back more is when you make the improvements
yeah.
and so on.
So you
Yeah.
see what you're saying is something I've been saying for years as well,
Hmm.
especially to the younger generations that don't really know what they want to do with their life. They're living in a bubble, completely separated from the adult reality, right?
Yeah,
Which we could call the rat race, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, right? That's a
definitely.
subject, another subject of conversation. But I always say to those people and to everyone that the most important thing that you can do is think about what you love, what your heart desires. What do you want to do with your life? For some
Hmm.
people, it's going to be combat sports. People like you and I, combat sports, like martial arts, combatives, all that stuff. For some other people, it might be something else. But there is an old saying that says, if you work a job you love, you will need to work a single day in your life because it's not going to seem like work. It's
Hmm.
when you and plus not only that, when you love what you do, people see it. That
Yeah,
energy
yeah, you
emanates out
can
of you
see that
because
energy.
you got that passion. Same thing when I
Definitely.
teach or when you teach. There's that passion and people can feel it, and people want to be around you for that very reason.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I think that's really important for,
Definitely. Yeah.
especially for young people, to start thinking about what they like and get into it from a young age.
Yeah. And it is a hard one because when you're young, you're you can have like fluttering ideas. You know,
Yeah.
one day you wake up and, you know, you think you want to do this, the next day you change, and next
Yeah.
day you change.
Yeah.
You know, isn't it? That's how we all are. So I
Yes.
think if you can like, you know, what I found is if you really reflect on yourself a lot more and, you know, if you know who you are better, then you'll know what you want to do. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that to me is why, you know, that inner journey and like the journey within and like the growth within that person is so important because when you like know who you are and then like you're strong in that,
Mm.
then less things are going to be able to change you, you know.
Yeah.
And then in times in my life where I've been lost and I've not known who I am, then things influence you too much
Hmm. Yeah. And
because
people.
your mind is not as strong. And you get
Yeah.
drawn here, you get drawn there, and then you go off track. You have to pull yourself back again, and then it change and all this. But if you can like develop your own wisdom of yourself and like know who you are, which obviously just comes with time, right?
Yeah.
And
It's true.
and
It's
age and
true.
stuff. Yeah,
I mean, when you have a look at young people, yeah, it's like young people when you start telling them what do you want to do, when they get to the college and they need to start thinking about what they want to study, to where they want to be in life, and very often they don't choose for themselves. They got that peer pressure from friends
mm.
or from,
Someone
oh,
else. Yeah,
because my friend wants to do this, I'm going to do this as well. Not because I like it, but because my friend is doing it. That's the wrong
mm.
reason, right? Or because my parents want me to study geography or study science,
Yeah,
I'm going to study science. And then when you get older and you start developing that emotional intelligence and you start to be
mm.
able to explain how you feel, then you're like, oh,
Yeah,
that's not really what I want to do. So
yeah,
they spend maybe like 2 or 3 years working towards something, and then after 2 3 years they're like, oh, I'm not interested anymore. So
yeah,
that's why I think, as a parent, right, or even if you got friends, or even if you're a coach and you coach little kids,
yeah.
is to let them make
Mm.
their own choice, and make them understand from a young age that it's your life and you
Yeah,
decide where you want to go. We're here to guide you, we're here to protect you, we're here to point you in the right direction, but you're the person that must decide what you want to do.
exactly. I,
um
I think that links into being a good coach as well
yeah, absolutely.
because
Yeah.
there's two ways to approach it. As a coach, you can think, right, when you're coaching someone, doesn't matter what you're doing, that person has to do exactly the same way that I do everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then it becomes about me more than the person I'm actually coaching and their own development. So if
Yeah.
I'm not present enough, then you know you can lose that. But it should be right. That person has got their own like you said things they want to do and like their own mindset about them, but they might not know it.
Mm.
So you know, like if you can reinforce that, let's say you're training like a youngster, and you know you tell them at the end of the session, you know, you can do whatever you want to put your mind to, you
Yeah.
know, and then you plant little seeds with people, and
Yeah.
then when they're going through little tough times, they might then remember that, oh yeah, yeah, I can do that, you know,
Yeah.
myself, and then that links back into their own growth and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and like with being a coach as well, if you want someone to improve, then you have to like let go of what you want in them and like build them up for who they are and make them confident in what they can do, you know, and then allow them to do it as well and
Yeah.
put it into practice, which I know you know a lot about because obviously you've been a coach and you know you are still a coach and stuff. You've done seminars and you know you
Yeah.
coach different martial arts and stuff. So
So
yeah,
I think, I mean, if we were to speak about coaching, which I wanted to speak about, I just put that subject a bit further in the conversation, but
yeah,
let's bring it to the forefront. When it comes to coaching, right? And to me, that's something, when you get older and you start doing stuff and you realize that you find what you were born to do, right?
mhm,
And I think we both found what we were born to
yeah,
do,
yeah,
right?
definitely,
It's when you start realizing that you do something, but it's not you doing it. It's like it's doing it through you. You know, it's the universe just teaching through you, and you're just a
Yeah.
vehicle, right? That's when things come really naturally when it comes to coaching, and I have that. Not to
Yeah.
say that you can't learn. Obviously, you can learn to become a better coach, and very often is by observing your students and by asking for feedback and things like this. But what I found is like being a coach is about finding the best way, the most efficient way, and the quickest and safest and most efficient way to
Hmm.
convey the message and to implant on their hard drive the teachings,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
Understanding
Hmm.
that you got different people with different individual learning styles. So we
Mm.
speak about the VAC principle, VAK. Have you heard of that before? No.
I've not actually.
So
VAK.
the VAC principle in education is basically visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. It's basically that every student, every people have got a preferred individual learning style. So, for
Yeah.
example, me, Dan, I'm like more of a visual kinesthetic learner. I need to see stuff. You could explain to me in detail with the best words you can find. It
You're not
wouldn't
gonna
do
listen.
much. It wouldn't do much for me. I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to see you showing it
That's
to me a good few times, and then because I got that photographic memory, I record that on the hard drive,
you can
and then I
visualize it.
and
Yeah.
then I need to try it. I need to be kinesthetic. I need to try it. Once I seen it 2 3 times and I tried it, and you came around and you told me, Julian, yeah, bring that micro adjustment, bring that micro adjustment, then
Hmm.
I have it. Then I have the skill.
Yeah.
Some people, you might show them 100 times, they're not going to remember. They want you to explain to them with the correct words, and do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
concise,
Exactly.
precise, and straight to the point. So when you understand the VAC principle, is you try to implement in your teaching all three learning styles so that you can reach the whole group.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the things about coaching that I've learned through the years. What I'm gonna ask you is, as a coach, how do as a coach do you actually observe your student and see what sort of person they are, what sort of mentality
I do.
they
Yeah.
have, and how to make them feel comfortable so that you can send the message, so that you can teach them. Some
Yeah.
people,
So yeah,
yeah, go on.
I think it's people skills, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Interpersonal skills. Absolutely.
People skills.
And
So like
psychology and yeah.
I think if you like you develop your people skills more, then you can relate to that student in a better way. So because like you said, people learn in different ways, so they might learn slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that as well is like because I've got a lot of knowledge in my brain,
Mm-hmm.
then for me, I forget what I was like when I was a beginner and how
Yeah.
hard it was. So
Yeah.
I have to go right back. So I have to do the work in my head. I have to go right back to know what was it like when I was learning. How was it like? Okay, I remember when I didn't know anything, how hard it was. So you have to slow it down a bit. Like let's see when you're teaching a beginner, for example, how to
Yeah.
learn all those patterns. You have to slow it down first.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think you can kind of tell like if you're more of an aware person, like you can see people's character in different ways, can't you? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
like someone might be a bit softer, but then need that hardness to be drawn out of them by a coach,
Yeah.
and be pushed more different ways. Or someone is like coming into it straight away, all guns blazing.
Yeah.
I want to do this, and like I'm trying so hard to do it, but then they need to slow down a bit
Yeah.
and like do everything a bit more step by step, and then
Yeah.
use that energy they've got to put it back into you
Yeah.
know the technique of things. So it's about understanding first what makes like a good student, a good fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and then matching up all those different levels within that character, within that person to balance them out so they can apply whatever martial art or sport it is they're doing in the best way,
Yeah.
you know. And like I found like with myself, I've been like when I first started, I wasn't very confident,
Mm.
but then through doing it, I realized, oh, my skill is very high, but my confidence, it doesn't match my skill. So
Mhm.
then there's a work for me as an individual to work on that, the mental side of things, to get to the level where my skill is at. So you align that. So you're like aligning yourself in more ways. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean because I had to deal with that myself in life. I wasn't always like super confident.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm more confident than some other times. It really depends. But that's something I had to work with, bring because I've always been good at what I do. I mean, obviously, I've learned. I've been a beginner, and I'm still a beginner in some things as well. And that's what I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn the stuff I'm not good at, right? So I'm being a beginner. I'm being a student more often than I'm being a teacher. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I always had a talent for martial arts because I love it. I love it, right? But my mindset wasn't always aligned with it. I've always had better skills than the mindset. So I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean by, uh, you know, when you start looking at your skill set and you're like, huh, it's
Mm,
actually not that bad. What
yeah.
I should be more confident. That should bring more confidence. And that's one thing about martial arts and combat sports. What it does for confidence, especially with kids. When you start the
Yeah.
kids young, it does a lot for them. That's why I
So.
advise anyone. I advise any parents to put
Mm,
their kids into a martial arts from a young age. I
yeah.
generally say from four. I started at 4 years old with judo. I think judo is amazing for
I
young
started with
kids.
judo as well. My first
Yeah,
martial art.
I've,
So
I've, I've, I think judo is amazing for young kids to start them. And then once they get up to 10, 11, and they already got a good wrestling base from judo, then get them to some sort of striking out, whether it's Muay Thai or boxing or MMA, or do you know what I mean? But I,
yeah.
I advise any parents to do that because how it molds the character and also that humbleness that comes with
Yeah.
not with everyone. You happen to be, bro, you happen to be one of the most humble guy I know, as a, as compared to
Yeah.
your level of skills.
Yeah.
Not everybody's like that, unfortunately, especially in this day and age, especially in the world of MMA and Thai boxing. There's a lot of
Mm,
ego as well, and that's
mm,
something that I think we can talk about as well because that's very important. One thing that I love about combat sports and why, after training so many different martial arts for 34 years now, why I'm just reverting back to combat sports now and MMA and Thai boxing and Lethwei and boxing and wrestling because it's a humbler from day
oh,
one.
man.
If you go
Day
there
one.
with an ego from day one, you're gonna get humbled. I
Yeah.
know because I've trained in the same gym as you. I know Panikos really
Yeah.
well. He's one of my best friends, just like you. Great guy. But I know one thing. I remember a few times some guys that we never seen before came there for the first time and started sparring hard, and Panikos just took them as a sparring and just humbled them straight away, or put them with
Mm,
someone with a higher level to humble them. So
mhm.
that's what I love because if you look
So
into
yeah.
if you look
What do you think that is like? Is that when it relates back to the ego, right?
yes,
How how does that then play into like having less ego, right?
yeah,
Which is more awareness, which is more wisdom, which is more strength,
I
more
think
presence. Because
yeah,
you go through that humbling process, you're
yeah,
forced to acknowledge that your pride isn't everything you thought it was.
that's it. And not
Yeah,
only that is the thing is the most important is when you go to the gym, realize that there's always going to be somebody that's better than you.
yeah,
There will always be somebody that can put you back on your manner if you start having ego. And
mhm,
I think this is great because when you go to a Muay Thai gym or a boxing gym, you go there and you empty your cup and you're like, that's it. There's some people that are better than you. You know that you're better than some other people. And
mhm,
that relates to what I was saying to you last time when we was doing the little film as well at All Powers Gym recently, where I was saying that the great thing is three different levels to play with your ego a little bit to keep a healthy dose of ego, but also to suppress your ego on one side because it's very needed. If you want to learn, you got to suppress your ego. So,
mhm,
and that's what I said. I said, spar with people that are better than you, and they're gonna mop the floor with you, and your
Yeah.
ego is gonna get completely crushed at that moment, right? You're gonna be like, oh fuck, I need to get better. But if you got the drive, you're gonna be like, I must get better, so I must train
Mm,
harder, and and that's one thing. Then what you
mm,
do is you spar with somebody that's a similar level as you, and now you start having fun a bit more. You start being able to
exactly.
having a bit more fun, and when you start lacking confidence, just when you start lacking confidence, not all the time, right? But if it does happen that you start lacking confidence, then go and spar with somebody that's not as good as you, and then you realize that there is a gap in skills. So it
Mm.
teaches you to
Teach you to be aware of what level you're at.
put yourself that silver ego in check as much as possible. So ego, then that's one thing I
Yeah.
want to ask you. What about a healthy dose
Healthy
of
ego,
ego as
bro.
a fighter? Because it's needed as well.
You
Ego,
love the ego.
eh?
I love having an ego. I'm
Uh,
sure you do too.
Of course, I mean, look, when you're good at what you do and you present your craft and stuff like, there's always people that
Mhm.
might say, "Oh, he's got ego and stuff." And
Yeah.
I
Well,
think the most,
you know what I think now? I think honestly,
mm,
I've kind of realized that, if someone has an ego, why should I even care?
yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Why
mm,
should I actually even care about it that much?
mm. But
Because
you're in a position to be like
there's
that.
literally billions of people out there. You
Yeah.
know, you can think about all these kind of people and like it's like why? Just focus on yourself. And
Mhm.
I think that's just what it goes back to. And yeah, but if you do that honestly, if you focus on yourself honestly, okay, let's say you trained for years, you put loads of work in, and you're a pro fighter, or you're expert in combatives or Krav Maga or anything like that, then acknowledge that,
Mm.
own that, because you've done that
Yeah, yeah,
yourself, and that's something that you've done in your life. So that's a gift you've got. So then have that there, but then don't go over extreme with it.
yeah.
It's
It's
quite simple, isn't it?
as always, same like in
It's quite simple.
spirituality. It's same like in spirituality. It's about finding the perfect equilibrium between the light and darkness, like
Balancing
become
it
the
out.
gray Jedi, type of thing. Like
Yeah.
between the light and the darkness, understanding the darkness, understanding the light, merging two together and become that gray
You
magic.
had a podcast name that, didn't you, or something?
Eh?
Before you had a podcast, The Grey Warrior, or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a podcast. It was more of a me talking on my own. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still up there for people that are interested. It's
Yeah.
called
Very interesting.
the Grey Warrior's Heart
Yeah.
on YouTube, and I've not done anything about it for quite a while, but I got a few videos on there. But
Mhm.
that's what it's about, really. If you find the perfect medium,
Yeah.
the perfect equilibrium between having too much ego and not
Yeah.
having enough.
Mm.
eh,
And I think is knowing as well where, and as well acknowledging that other people, like everyone has an ego,
Everyone.
just like everyone else.
Absolutely.
So, you
Especially the
know,
people that deny it.
yeah, if anyone denies that you don't have an ego and all this, then they're probably
They're
very
not even
depressed
aware
about
of their ego. That's why they deny it. They're too
it. Yeah,
busy
it's
pointing
true.
the
They don't even
fingers
actually know what their ego is. They've not even actually understood like who they are and what their ego is and stuff. And yeah, you need a healthy ego because there's nothing wrong with doing what you want to do. You don't
at. Yeah,
have to be guilty.
of
Other
course.
people might try and drag you down and stuff, but there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong. If you want to be successful, if you want to be rich, you want to be successful, if you want to look good, if you want to have a beautiful wife and a beautiful girlfriend and drive a nice car, what's wrong with that?
there's
But
nothing
like,
wrong with it.
as soon as people start to say, "Oh, he's obsessed with money and
Mm,
he cares about himself, doesn't he, and all this," then that all that is a negative person in my eyes.
yeah.
As long as you're not harming anyone, do you know what I mean?
Abundance.
Yeah.
Abundance is our birthright, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And
You
you
know?
can, if you're thinking, it goes back to your thinking. If you really tell yourself, I can't do this, I can't achieve anything, I'm gonna be poor, I'm gonna be, you know, unsuccessful and all this, then you're gonna do it. I think most people are aware of that, aren't they? You
Mm,
kind of become what you think.
yeah.
And But if you just tell yourself, what's to say I can't achieve the things I want to achieve?
Yeah.
What is actually stopping you? As long as your goals are like realistic, you know,
Yes.
then and you focus it in the right way, then yeah, you actually can achieve what you want to, you know.
So that,
Yeah.
this is where we get into
Most
the
of the time.
realm of manifestation.
Yeah.
So that
Manifestation.
here's another topic of conversation for you.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to manifestation, I'm just writing it at the same time. When it comes to manifestation, one of the most important tool, not only for manifestation but for everything in life, is visualization, right? So as a martial artist, as a fighter, as a coach,
Yeah.
how often do you use visualization? What
Mm,
me, I started visualization. I'm a natural. I started that when I was a kid. I was already visualizing
yeah.
all my
I'm a,
fighting,
I'm a
everything.
big visualizer as for yeah.
Yeah, you have to be. You wouldn't be
Yeah.
who you are and at your level of skill if you weren't good at visualizing.
Mm. And for me, it's like you can visualize in your mind. I've always like visualized success in my mind
Yeah, yeah,
and in different concepts in different ways.
yeah,
Obviously, in martial arts, it might be a belt or it might be getting your hand raised
yeah.
or, you know, you feel in a certain way and you visualize how you want to feel because you want to be a winner. You want to feel that winning
Mm-hmm.
feeling, which is a sign of your character and the work you put in. So I use that like because when we're training and training gets intense and difficult, which is like most of the time, they're all about gym.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, are you familiar? Are you familiar with the work of alchemy and transmutation? Transmutation. Are you familiar with the word transmutation?
Yeah, like it means turning one thing into another thing, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Fusing
And
stuff.
transmutation,
Mhm.
when we speak about spiritual alchemy or mental, emotional alchemy, is the fact that emotions are basically energy in motion inside the body that can be felt, that leads to a feeling, and the feeling will shape your reality, right? Everything
Mm,
starts from the spiritual realm. The idea is born on at the level of energy in the spiritual realm. It descends through the mental realm where the energy becomes an idea, and then when you visualize the idea in your mind, this idea creates an emotion, right? So, and the emotion inside the body now creates a feeling, and the
mm,
feeling will make you take action or say words or do something, and what will shape your reality. So, what I'm trying to say here
yeah.
is transmutation is the art of basically turning one mental state or emotional state or spiritual state or physical state into another. How
Hmm.
do you go about doing this? I'll give you an example, concrete example. Some days you go to the gym all the time because you're pushing yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's self discipline. Some days you feel better than some other days. I'm sure even you, at your level, you have some days where you start throwing
Yeah.
kicks and you're like, fuck, I can't be bothered today. How do you transmute your mental and emotional state at that point from negative thinking to positive thinking?
You don't want to know, bro. Honestly, bro, you don't want to know.
You're just like,
No, no, bro, I don't do that shit. Bro, that's some self-hate right there. I
I
don't
know,
do
I know,
that.
I know.
You
No,
can't hate yourself.
some people just be just to be hard on themselves. Like, come on, it's like
Yeah,
the
but
devil
I
speaks
don't
in
think
your.
that works. For me,
Huh?
that doesn't work
Yeah, yeah,
because, like, if you're not like game to do it first, then it
mm,
doesn't matter. So I think for me, let's say I walk in. Well, it's quite simple, really. I think you've really got to want to do it, and I think if you really want to do it, you're gonna find a way.
yeah.
Genuinely, because your mind is amazing. Your mind can do anything.
Hmm.
It can work things out. But I think even if you first got that want to do it, then naturally, as a human being, you'll find a way mentally with your ideas, with your passion, you know, to get to that goal and to achieve it.
Yeah.
So and I think that that's kind of like everyone's like different journey, you know.
Yeah.
But if you want me to share what I use, for example, it's like I think about, right, okay, you know, this is who I am, and like the years I spent of training, and like how hard it was,
Mm.
and what have I done that for?
Yeah.
Why have I trained all those hours, and it's been hard, and I've like had to pick myself up, and you know, emotionally difficult, physically, mentally
Mm.
intense, you know, times where like I've been upset and I've cried and you push through and stuff like that, and you want to give up, you feel low, the highs and all that. Then I use what I've done, then I'll use that into now, and I'll like increase my self belief. So when I increase my self belief, I can do more.
Yeah.
You know, let's say when I'm on the mat, so I'm in the ring, and I don't believe in myself. Yeah, which anyone can fall into. If I don't believe in myself, then I won't be strong. Yeah,
Hmm.
I won't apply things I have because I
So
don't. My mind says no, 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 no. It
yeah.
stops. So if you allow the new mind to open up and to think, no, I can do this, and you like believe in yourself,
Hmm. So
and
this,
yeah, then you can do it. That's what I find. And is that like loving yourself?
yes,
Is that
yes,
what
of
love?
course,
That's like
self-love.
loving yourself. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
what you're talking about here, you know, Dan, that I'm very much into mysticism and spirituality and magic with a
yeah. I know.
K, not with a C, with a CK, magic, right? Transcendental magic and all that stuff, and the occult, not the dark stuff, but you know, the light stuff. And
Mhm.
what you just said now is basically the power of the incantation. You know, incantation. What's an incantation is? So when you do magic, you are, you know, you're opening the circle. You're burning some sage. If you want to burning some incense, get rid of the bad energy. Call in your guardian angel, your spirit guides, all that stuff, right? Call upon, you know, the spirit of the earth, Mother Earth, Father Universe, elemental forces, higher self, all that stuff, right? And then when you start doing stuff like positive affirmation,
Yeah,
you know,
positive affirmation.
the power of your incantation is very important, because if you say something, that words alone are not enough. You could say I'm healthy, you know, you could say I'm
Yeah, but
happy. You know, if you say I'm happy like that, you're obviously not happy. Your words are saying that you're happy, but your
you're
incantation is
actually not.
not strong enough.
Yeah, you're not
You
actually
don't
not.
believe in your word. Your word has no power because it's not strong enough. So what
Yeah,
you just said
true.
now, and we're still talking about transmutation and the great work of alchemy. Your mind is telling you, no, I can't do this. I don't believe in myself. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, your incantation kicks in from the heart, saying, no, that's not true. I am, you know,
Mm,
I am loving myself. I am trusting myself. I believe in
mm,
myself. I can do this. And at this
yes.
point, if your incantation is strong enough, this is when the transmutation happens from
Yeah.
negative to positive state. It's magic,
Yes.
bro. Everybody's doing magic without
Crazy,
even
isn't it?
knowing it. And very often it's negative
Yeah.
magic they do because they're talking
Yeah.
themselves down. They have negative self-talk, which leads
Mm.
to, you know, their potential not being fully accessible.
That's so interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
Makes
That's
you
why,
think, like, yeah, makes you
yeah.
think, doesn't it?
But that's why, you know, I got a lot of respect for like people that are champion. You know, it takes a lot of mental
Yeah.
fortitude to be a champion and to
And
win and to
I,
accept to lose defeat as well.
I think as well, when it comes to being a champ, like,
Mm,
you not everyone can be a champ.
I know.
They just can't.
I know. It's not for everyone. Yeah. It requires
And
you
it's
need to
like
be wired a
it's
certain way.
really it's so interesting why what makes a champ versus not. It is so interesting, isn't it?
Mm,
And if you think, I think it's about if someone's a champion, it's because it's something within them. It's a
yeah.
personal thing.
Yeah.
It's a close thing. Because if anything, if it's like a bit of an exterior thing, like, you know, it doesn't mean that much, or it's a bit for show, or you want to show off, or, you know, you want to post a lot and show the people, then when it gets really tough under those circumstances in the ring, then you very likely going to crumble
Hmm.
because you don't have that real thing in your core,
Mm-hmm.
that strength that you've got as a champ to like drive through that. And that's what like to me makes a champion is
Yeah.
having the ability when no one else is there, is to still drive through that hardship and come out the other side because in a way you can do and you believe you can. And I think it's a it's a personal thing. And I think if everyone's whatever your journey is with it relates back into it, let's say with your family life or your journey in that as an athlete and like I said, understanding what you've been through, then that adds to your strength to then be a champ because you know that you can push through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is another question I had for you. Everybody says, and I think it's really important
Mhm.
that when you get to the gym to train, that you should live your life at home. You should live it at home and just really come and just focus on what you came here to do. Now, sometimes it's difficult, right? Because we're all going through stuff. Sometimes it's personal stuff, family stuff, or loved one dies, or just broke up with a girlfriend, or some shit happens, and it's
Mhm.
how do you
Mhm.
deal with this when you got personal stuff happening in your life that's kind of weighting down on you, but you're still going to the gym and you got to leave that in the changing room. Basically, you got to leave that before you step on the mat. How do you
Mm.
go about doing this?
Good question.
That is.
I think
I'm full of good
it's.
questions, bro.
I know you are, bro. You're the guy for this. I think. I think. Mm, it's about your focus.
Mm,
It's about where you put your focus,
yeah.
and I think that's what it goes back to. Is if you get into that, if you walk in the gym, then you then have to know what your focus is
Yes. Yes.
and what your own focus is. If you know what your focus is, then you're gonna pursue that when you're in that gym or that moment.
Yeah.
And it goes back to balance as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're too focused, it can be a bad thing. Let's say if you're too focused on training all the time, then you're not relaxing, you're not having like a life. And
Yeah.
they go back hand in hand. You're not like being like yourself and like a person. You're trying to be this thing that you want to focus on,
Yeah.
and it's too extreme. So then it can flip back.
Yeah. I've had
Do
that
you know what I mean?
happen to me. Yeah.
And then it flips back on again.
Yeah.
So you're better off, like you said before about balance, knowing that you know, okay, yes, I am who I am. I like to do this, this, this. I like to do Muay Thai, to do this instrument, to do whatever I'm doing, and I want to progress in that. But also, you're still who you are. You have a life outside of that, and I think that's where you can use the strength, like to balance off. Like you can enjoy your life as well, so you'll be
Yeah.
happier. So then you'll be able to like you'll have more energy when it comes to training. You'll look forward to training more
Yeah.
because you've come away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say for a few days,
Yeah.
rested, then you come back to train, or you come away
Yeah.
from it for a day, and you not just physically but mentally taking yourself out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's more important because
Yeah.
physically you can be anywhere, but if you're
Yeah.
mentally somewhere, you are there.
Yeah.
Like you may as well be in that time because your memory playing in your head.
So you
So you
see,
have to understand like where the switches are,
yeah.
and where certain lines are in your own life. I think.
I'm thinking, just looking at my life, uh, as as far as martial art goes, right? I'm not as obsessed about it. I still am a bit, right? Because it's my passion. It's more of a passion, but before that was an obsession, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with obsession is that you don't think about anything else. And I can tell you quite frankly that in the first 25 years of my life, I was only thinking about this. I was only talking about this. There was nothing else on my
Yeah.
mind. There's nothing else that I wanted to do. All the rest was rubbish. All I loved was my martial arts. But for me, and just to be completely honest, right, and completely open like a book for everyone to hear, is it was based on traumas. Because
Yeah.
martial arts for me was the first and only way that I could gain respect from other people. Because, I
Mhm.
got bullied a lot at school, being ADHD on the mild spectrum of autism and all that crap. And when I started to do martial arts and I started to do some good stuff with it, that's the first time in my life that I saw people actually showing me respect. So it meant a lot for me. Do you know what I mean? For me, that was the only way to get respect from people. And because I got badly bullied when I was a kid, there was a lot of trapped anger in me as well. Like real, like red mist and hate towards injustice, right?
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, I need to become the most dangerous person in the world. Do you know what I mean? And it was
Mhm.
quite dark. And
Yeah.
that's where the ego was created, and the alter ego persona was created, and I had to keep that in check. And in fact,
Mhm.
it's when I had my spiritual awakening at age 25, I went through a very similar phase like you did when you had your spiritual awakening,
Mhm.
which was to completely lay my weapons down and just say to
Mhm.
myself, I'm not going to train anymore. I don't want to be violent. I want nothing to do with war. I just want to merge back with the source. I just
Mhm.
want to become who I was meant to be, like connected
Mhm.
to the universe, connected
Mhm.
to the source, peaceful, loving, caring, full of compassion. Just
Yeah.
work with the light,
Because
become a light
you
worker.
became so obsessed with
And I
that.
became obsessed with this as well. I
Yeah.
know.
No, but I mean, but you got to that point of wanting the light because you became before that so obsessed with that
Yeah.
little dark idea to balance out the trauma you had,
Yeah.
thinking that that would solve the trauma if you did that.
Hmm.
From immature emotional spiritual point of view, thinking that
Yeah.
you're doing the right thing and really thinking that you're doing the right thing,
Yeah.
yeah, and then realizing that you need to change it
Yeah.
and then developing maturity along the way.
Yeah.
So I think with that, like with my spiritual journey and stuff, um it started when I was like 2021 in lockdown. I was in Thailand
Mm.
and like everything, like the world stopped, so I was like, right, I went inward. But now looking back on it, I wasn't ready for it. Do you know what I mean? Like what I was tapping into was like I wasn't as a person and my maturity. I wasn't actually ready for it,
Yeah.
but I thought I was because doing martial arts for a while, you think you're quite a headstrong person,
Yeah.
and you know you're very like driven in what you want to do and stuff. But again, that links back to like immaturity
Yeah.
and learning lessons and stuff. So I was doing so I did martial arts when I was 10, and then when I got to about 2021, I didn't feel any passion for it anymore.
Mm.
And like you said, when you're younger and that's the thing that people respect you for,
Yeah.
people know you for,
Yeah.
people love you for it,
Yeah.
and you feel like that's what I'm helping other people to do. When
Yeah.
you then like don't when you feel like you're burnt out with that, it's like, well, what else can I do then?
Yeah.
What else am I gonna do? And then your mind says, oh, you have to become like my mum was saying, oh, like you have to be like a boring normal person now because
Yeah.
you're not gonna do this. So then looking back on it, then I had to like over dramatize who I was, what that meant for me, which
Yeah.
is linked back into my ego and stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So it's the immaturity coming through, you
Mm.
know, and uh, then going down that route of like coming away from martial arts for about a year, 2 years,
Mm.
like about 2 years, and like not fighting or anything. Then went very like on like the soft side of things, and like yeah, then eventually realized that I want to come back into it.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, and we can get into that if you want to as well.
I remember very well that conversation that we had around that time, when you
Yeah,
came back from Thailand, and you said to me, "I don't want to be involved with it, or like, I just don't feel like I can do it anymore," and
yeah,
because you just wanted to adopt a life of peace. And
yeah,
when you said that to me, I was like, dude, that's exactly what I went through. Do you know what I mean? It's like I
yeah,
I went through it, and then I realized one thing is that that's what I was born to do. It's not about violence.
Mhm.
It's about self mastery, and it's about helping other people achieve the same. Ultimately, we are good at what we do because we're here to help other people become good at it as well. So
Mhm.
you are helping life, you are helping the universe, you are
Exactly.
contributing to life. You're not contributing to destruction or violence or anything,
Mhm.
because any fight that you do is in controlled environment. Nobody's dying, nobody's getting hurt ish. Right? It's all consentful.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
that, to me, I was so happy when I saw you get back into Muay Thai. I was like, yes, because
Mhm.
I know that this is what you was born to do. And
Mhm.
personally, bro, I think that you're gonna make it to world title. I really believe that you will, bro, because of the way you are, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm
Mhm.
I'm super glad. And when the day when you do become a world champ, you'll look back and you'll realize why. Well, you already know anyway. You realize already why you went through what you went through. And when you
Absolutely.
said one thing, you said, it all boils down to immaturity, and you wasn't ready for the
Mhm.
spiritual path before. What I'm gonna say is, have you ever heard of the term spiral learning? Spiral learning.
Nah, bro.
So spiral learning is the way that the life lessons are coming to us. We only, sometimes it takes us 10, 20 times to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
And the spiral learning will come back to you, spiral back to you, at which point you will be faced with the same lesson, and you're going to understand some of it, and then you're going to move on to something else, and then you're going to come back to the same lesson but at a high level, because
Yeah.
spiral
Yeah.
learning
Like
goes
coming
up,
full
right?
circle, right?
Yes, you keep
Yeah.
you,
Coming
you
full
you go
circle.
full circle basically,
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
you understand the lesson and you apply the lesson, and then the lesson disappears and something else appears instead. But that's
Yeah.
spiral learning. So you will most definitely come back to your spirituality, bro. There's no doubt about it. You know,
Well, like I've always been a bit of a I've always been like a quite spiritual person anyway,
me too.
and I think it's now my spirituality is just a personal thing.
It always is, isn't it?
Yeah, like as in like it as in like just in a like a personal, you
Yeah.
know, development of yourself and
Hmm.
your own peace and stuff. Like
Yeah.
rather than like chasing too many ideals. And I think I did that before when it comes to spirituality. I had like loads of ideals about things, and I think that was somewhat linked to trauma and then also martial arts because
Mm.
like in martial arts, like when I started, like I said, I wasn't very confident as a person. So when I developed that confidence and that strength by having those ideals that I need to be, like, I was a bit of a perfectionist back then.
Yeah.
Still am in some ways, but I'm a lot better with it now. But like I was like very like perfectionist about everything,
Yeah.
which is a good thing because in some ways then I learned Muay Thai very well.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I was hard on myself to learn it, which now I'm benefiting from now where
Yeah.
I'm at. So that's why you can't erase anything in your path because
Yeah.
everything links back
Yeah,
together in
exactly.
some
You
way.
wouldn't
Do you know what I
you know
mean?
so when you said to yourself, "Oh, I wish this never happened," but if it never happened, you wouldn't be who you are today.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is scary. It's like going back in the past to change stuff, and they're like, "Be careful what you change
Hmm.
because that could completely change your timeline, and you'd
Yeah,
be
and
a
you might be a lot
different
worse
person."
off.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be.
Hmm.
So now all this is super interesting. How we
Hmm.
spiral back to the same
Yeah.
life lessons until we fully understand and we're ready to move on.
Hmm.
And all this relates to the inner fight, right? And I know I'm mentioning it again. That's what we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes is the inner fight, right? So the
In a
other thing,
battle,
yeah,
in
the
a battle.
yeah,
Is it?
it's
Yeah.
always a battle, and it's a battle between light and darkness within our consciousness, and my question is, let's talk about pain.
Hmm.
Let's talk about learning to take punishment and take pain and break free of the fear of inflicting pain. because I know you and I are empathetic people. You know, we care about other people. I don't like hurting other people. That makes me feel bad about myself. Sometimes I get angry. I've been in some
Mhm.
situations where I had to get in fights because I've worked the doors for 15 years, and you know, I realized after straight away after I was like, I don't feel good about myself because
Yeah.
I could have dealt with it a different way if I had more self control. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, how
That's
do you
true.
go about it's a two-way question, right? How do you go about being okay with inflicting pain, right, as part of the sport,
Mhm.
and also in training? We know Muay Thai is very difficult because of taking the pain, right? It's you clash shin on shin, you'll clash
Yeah.
knee on knee, you'll get
Quite
injuries.
the same
You
thing.
know, how do you work through the injuries? How do you work through the pain?
So to answer the first bit
Okay.
is because first of all, it's the self defense. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Is acknowledging the fact that if someone else has bad intentions towards you, which
Yeah.
is very possible, by the
Hmm.
way. Um, Obviously, and if you're in the ring with someone, they do. You know what I mean? Like they want to come and they're coming after your head at the end of the day.
Mm.
Then you need to put everything out there to ensure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And when you know that, then you're okay with it, and your mind can be okay with it.
Hmm.
But if you've not got to that level yet, then it's a bit of a scary thing
Yeah.
because you don't really understand it. But it's just going through that process of in training, sparring. That's where
Mm.
it starts. You
Yeah.
know, hitting and getting hit back, just like lightly, and then you might have a hard spar here and there, and then you're understanding then how it all links together, and when you can spar in different ways, when you can find different ways. So I think when it comes to inflicting, like being able to like inflict pain on someone else,
Mm.
it also makes you understand and realize what it means to not do that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
if you can understand what it feels like to feel that pain and to inflict that pain on someone else, and you're not like an absolute psychopathic murderer. Do you know what I mean? Like as
Yeah,
you get
yeah, yeah.
older, like
Some
some
people are like, especially in the world of bare knuckle boxing and stuff like that.
yeah,
You got some pretty
you gotta be
crazy
careful.
characters. And
But like the average, like most people, most nice people, yeah, then it will then like allow you to be a nicer person
hmm.
because you kind of understand what you can do,
Yeah.
and then you understand that, what other people are capable of and stuff, and then you understand what you're capable of. So it links back to your just understanding of yourself in a better way, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when it comes to like taking the pain, like fighting and stuff, first of all, if you're in a fight, you got loads of adrenaline gushing through your body. So that does half the work for you.
Hmm.
You know, no matter what your mindset is, if you just high on adrenaline, you're not gonna feel a lot of stuff. So that's your own body's mechanism, isn't it? Of that we've developed and built into us as a system
Hmm.
that then comes out in that fight or flight response. Um, and then also, uh, you kind of got to let go a bit of your, you kind of got to let go of your own body a bit. You got to let go of yourself
Hmm.
because if you're too attached to, you know, how I'm gonna look or what if I get an injury, then you're gonna be flinching. You're gonna be
Hmm.
when you get hit, you're not gonna go into it. You're
Hmm.
gonna get affected by it too much, even though it's the same shot.
Yeah.
So you got to let go, and that's like when it comes to fighting. This is
Okay.
gonna sound quite extreme, but in the ring and in training, I have a little thing in my head where I say I have to be willing to die
Yeah.
to go through that.
Hmm.
But that's just my own little thought pattern that I've developed. As in, I'm willing to die. I don't care how hard it is
Yeah.
to go through that, and then you can let go of the pain a bit more, and you
Yeah.
accept it.
I like that.
If that
That
makes
that
sense.
that is really interesting, and I think we're going to expand
Yeah,
on that subject. So, you mentioned death.
yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah. Go on.
You mentioned death, right? Now, death is a subject of conversation that I've been thinking about a lot, especially in the recent years.
Yeah,
Not that I want to die or anything like that, right? I want to live. I want to live, and I want to be happy and successful, and
of course,
But
yeah,
because I'm a very spiritual guy and I'm reading a lot of different topics, old school scriptures, gnostics, and things like that. Kabbalah, like Kemet, and all the stuff from the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. And
yeah,
they were really big on afterlife, and I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, as you know, which also has got the afterlife, stuff happening in there.
rebirths and all
And I'm thinking to myself,
that.
when I die, I want to be ready. At the moment when my body dies, I want to be ready for it. I don't want to fight it. I want to go out with a smile on my face. Do you know what I mean? I want to die consciously, not unconsciously. I want to I want my body to go with my soul knowing that it's infinite awareness, and that it's going to continue. I'm just going to break through the other side, and it's like in a dream. When you
Yeah,
die in a dream,
great.
what happens?
Hmm.
You wake up,
Hmm.
right? I think personally that when we die, we're going to wake up on the other side in a different dimension.
But I don't think we even know.
We
But
we could we couldn't know.
that's what I realized. I don't think anyone actually knows, mate.
No, we don't.
I,
But
I
that's the
think we've
fear
just
of the
got
ego,
ideas.
the
Yeah,
fear of dying.
yeah. I think it's just the fears and the
So,
ideas.
so
You know?
and I'm going to go with my question before I'm going to
Yeah.
say this.
Hmm.
So I've had some near-death experience in my life, some of which were by plant medicine
Yeah.
when I did some shamanic work, and some of which were real life, where I got into a real life altercation, and I thought I was going to get stabbed or shot, or you know what I mean.
Hmm.
And it made me appreciate life more. When you have a near-death experience, the first day, week, month, it's like everything is new. You're rediscovering everything. You're learning to appreciate every single thing that you took for granted before.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting.
Hmm.
On another hand, as a warrior, and being a fighter, you're a warrior, right?
Yeah.
As a warrior, I think it's a necessity to be all right with death. And
Yeah. You have to be.
to understand that if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. There's nothing you can do about it. You might as well. Do you remember the movie Gladiator?
Yeah. With thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Russell Crowe. Do you
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
when he says that Marcus Aurelius one day told him something, that death comes to us all, and the best thing we can do, and death smiles at
Mm.
us all, and the best thing we can do is smile back,
Yeah.
right? So I thought that was so deep. This thing was so deep, because it's like, you're going to go into battle. There is a risk that you might not come back, and you need to be okay with this.
You need to be okay. Yeah.
So
Especially when it comes to fighting or anything like that.
exactly. I could go in detail in how I meditate on death and stuff like that, but that's a story for another day. But I'm gonna ask you, how do you meditate on death? Do you think about death? Do you actually learn to familiarize yourself and be okay with death?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
do. I do.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because I've experienced like loss in my family.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's something when I was younger, about like 10, 11, my mum passed away. And I never thought that like any that would ever happen. Because just being a young person, you don't experience that. So then when I experienced that firsthand, that was a like a shock, because you're like the innocence there is a bit shattered. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, like this is
I
reality of life. Like
Dan,
anyone can.
I
But
can't hear I
what
can't hear you very well for some reason. The sound kind of died down a bit. Oh, you got a microphone.
is that better?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, if you can just jump back maybe like 10, 15 seconds,
Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes.
we
Yes.
say what you were saying.
So when it comes to like how I ever think about death and stuff,
Yeah.
obviously I do, because I'm aware of it, and like in my family I've experienced like loss and stuff. So I'm aware that people can you can lose someone. Do you know what I mean? I've experienced it. So
Mm.
I'm then like forced to think about, oh, that's gonna happen to me one day, and I'll always like to look at things and acknowledge like the reality of things. Or at least do my best to do that, right? So I'll do that on my own in the best way I can to like acknowledge the fact that I'm gonna one day leave whatever this world is, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's gonna happen to everyone.
Yeah,
So like you need to at least be aware of it
yeah,
and acknowledge that like that's an unknown thing, isn't it?
yeah,
Death. We don't know what it is. We don't know we're not, because all we've experienced at this point is life
yeah.
every day. Wake up, we're alive. We don't know what death is. We don't know
So
what it feels like. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
so it's the power of surrendering.
Mm,
That's really what it is. It's the power of surrendering, even though you don't know what's to come.
mm.
I think that the fear of death is the fear of not existing anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the fear of death. But it's a big subject of conversation, that, bro. If you have that fear in your head, because the fear is in your head, it's a mental construct. Fear is a mental construct of the unknown, fear of the unknown. So you're like, what's going to happen when my body
Mm.
dies? Well, I say my body dies because I don't believe that the soul dies. But let's say if you don't believe in the eternal soul, you're going to be like, what happens after I die? I'm not going to exist anymore. There's going to be nothing. It's going to be all dark.
But where do you derive that idea of the eternal soul from? Like, is that something that you've
From my heart,
experienced from first-hand knowledge?
from my heart.
Yeah.
The heart
So,
is
yeah.
if I listen to my heart, we're gonna live forever. We're gonna incarnate. We have been incarnating in so many different lifetimes before, not only as humans, as all types of life forms, and we're gonna do that forever. We've been doing that forever, and we'll do that forever. And the
Mm.
cycles, obviously, but my heart is telling me that there's gotta be something after that. No way we're just born here to
Yeah.
pay taxes and work and have
Mm.
kids and get married and just die.
That's interesting, isn't
It
it, man?
makes no sense. It just makes no sense to me, bro. It makes no sense at all. So if
I
I
think
listen,
I think it's so deep, man. It's
yeah,
just so deep. I don't. I think it's just a bit of an infinite thing, isn't it?
yeah,
And if, humanity, we've always been talking about it from
yeah,
day dot, thousands and years ago. Religions, different religions all around the world, different shamanic practices and
yeah,
spiritual practice, understanding what death is and what we think it is. Like, look at the ancient Egyptians, for example. Yeah, they used to mummify the pharaoh
yeah, yeah,
because they used to believe that the pharaoh was divine and that he would take certain things with him into this reality that was called the afterlife.
yeah,
That's what they called it. And then your heart would be weighed on a
yeah.
scale,
With a
right,
feather.
with the feather and all that. So, but they believe that they would take it with them.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if that's true because they used to mummify them, the body. But why,
Personally,
like, is that a spiritual thing, or do they think that they need to get this physicality?
well, personally,
That's what
right,
they believe.
and that's a big subject of conversation. By the way, end of January we're going to Egypt with
Who
my
is
lady, yeah, and
into
our
pyramids?
grandson. Yeah, we're going back. I was there once when I was a kid, and it's calling me back, bro. Like for
That's
spiritual
crazy.
reasons, it's calling me back. So we
That's crazy.
we're going end of
Be
January. We're going.
careful. Be
I know,
careful.
I know, I know. So my opinion about ancient Egypt, right? I don't think that civilization was from Earth. I think they were from somewhere else. I think they landed here and they taught early humanity about stuff, and then they
No,
left. I
no.
that's really what I think. Because we start rediscovering the technology and the mathematical
Mm,
precision in which the pyramids were built and
people,
all.
people don't even realize.
Yeah, bro, how could they? Okay, that's my question. I'll tell you why I believe that. They knew about the flower of life. You know the flower of life, the sacred
Yeah.
geometry of the atom of everything, the flower of
Mm,
life, the Vesica Pisces,
mm,
all of that, right? This, they already knew about this before the invention of the telescope, and they knew about stars, systems, and planets and everything before the invention of the telescope. Explain that to me, please.
No, I don't know.
I know, bro. These people were more spiritually advanced and more technologically advanced than us, but their
Mm,
technology was more the inner technology, the biotechnology, not the. You know, we
mm.
got male
Got
brain
like
and
more of a
female brain.
drill and a gun and a big hand, like
Yeah,
a
we got
crane and
left
stuff.
we got left brain and right brain, right? The left brain
Wait,
is
wait, let's let's do the death thing first because we're about to go. I'm
okay,
about to
okay,
open,
okay, okay. But that's still
about
about
to open the roof on all this.
no problems. About
So
yeah,
I
go.
just think like just to answer what you said about the like death and stuff. I used to try and like I've learned about lots of different religions and stuff. Like I've studied Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam,
Hmm.
and like they all have different explanations on what happens when you die, right? Which first of all is interesting anyway, because
Hmm.
how do three things have each a different explanation, and they're all trying to be saying that they're right?
Hmm.
They can't all be.
No.
Either one of them's right, or one religion somewhere, maybe it's forgotten, or we just don't know. Either something's right, the truth is the truth, or
Yeah.
they're all wrong. They can't all be right and thingy, right? Like logically, right? So I think now, based on my honest human like outlook and everything, I think you're better off saying that you don't know.
Yeah.
I genuinely think you're better off just being honest and saying, I don't have a clue, right?
Yeah.
Because then at least you're being honest. And then if God's real, then God wants you to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's some logic there
Yeah.
as well. And it goes back to your faith, what you believe,
Mm.
doesn't it? You know, which is another thing entirely. Like, if someone's faith is their faith and it's close to their heart,
Yeah.
they've been led there to
Yeah.
believe that. They've been led to whatever it is. So you can never also say that they're wrong
Yeah. Yeah.
because
What if
you don't have that right. Do you know what I mean?
that is super interesting what you just said, and I do agree with it, and I'll explain why. What if afterlife was just a reflection of our belief? You believe you're going to go to hell, you're going to go to a lower realm. If you believe you're going to go to heaven, you're going to go to a higher realm. If you believe
Mm,
that you don't know, you would like life to go on, your ego might be scared of never existing anymore, but you're just fully honest and you just say, I don't know.
yeah.
Actually, if I was if somebody asked me to be honest, really honest about death, I'll tell them, well, except for the few people that had near death experience and came back with certain stories,
Which that exists as well, which is a different
there
thing.
there is there nobody well, actually, no, people did come back from death. People died
Yeah.
for 10 minutes and came back, and
Okay.
some of them had some very interesting stories to tell.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So, and not only that, Dan, I've worked with plant medicine
Yeah.
for long enough to know that there is something else. Like,
Definitely.
the reality that we see is very, very narrow compared to what there
So,
is.
do you think that it relates back to what you believe then, just based on your own mind and stuff?
I
Like
I
let's say if you really believe that you're gonna go somewhere, that your mind can kind of manifest that like reality in some way.
I
Is that
think so, because
your
are you
experience?
familiar with the seven hermetic principles?
Yeah. Well, not as much as you, but
Yeah,
I can maybe look into
like the the principle of mentalism, the principle of cause and effect, principle of vibration, the principle of gender, principle of cause and effect,
it.
all that stuff, and I'm missing a few, right? But basically, everything is mind. The universe is mind, and we're just the mind is trapped within this body right now. But once we break free of the body, we go back merging to the all mind.
Well, I don't know. I disagree that we're trapped.
Okay.
I don't think that we're trapped. I think that we are just what we're meant to be, you know, and that's why we're all here. And
Mm,
there's obviously a bigger picture going on because you look
yeah.
up at the universe and the sky
Yeah. Yeah.
and you realize like, wow, what the hell? Like you think about how small planet Earth is.
Yeah.
Bro, why? Like, we have such a beautiful thing. Like, we're on the earth, but we don't even realize. For us, it's our world, isn't it? You look
Hmm.
at it like that. It's like the whole 2D versus 3D thing.
Mm.
If you're in a 2D world, which is a flat world, and then you see a 3D image pass through it, just looks like a line because we don't understand it. Because
Hmm.
it's like our mental understanding that the dimension that we're on is not advanced enough yet to understand what that is. So there might be, let's say we're in the 3D world right now, right? There might be a higher
We're breaking
dimension.
into the 4D now, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are. We are breaking into the 4D.
and
And
something could pass through our reality from a different higher dimension, and we're not going to see it for what it is, but we're
Mhm.
going to see like signs of it and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very. This is a very deep conversation at the minute.
I would love.
And I think with like the spirituality and the plant medicines is one way that you can experience that.
Yep.
Like 100%. Because like
For
I have
me,
delved into that a little bit as well. So
for me, it was life changing, bro. It was life changing. And what I'm gonna say is, the truth is not something that you can be told. The truth cannot be told. The truth can only be experienced and felt, right? And that's
mhm,
how sometimes when somebody says something, or you read old scriptures, or you read the Bible, or the Quran, or the Zohar, or the Torah, or the Bhagavad Gita, or whatever book, religious book, or mystical book you want to read,
yeah,
and you read that, and your heart quite literally tells you, I know this is true. You feel it in your heart. You feel that truth. You know that truth deep in
mhm,
your core. uh,
mhm,
in you know as opposed to somebody just trying to tell you this is the truth.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is the
Like
truth, you must
trying to
believe
convince
me.
you.
I know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. This is the truth. You must believe
yeah,
me. I got a problem with this. I don't believe people blindly.
mm,
I don't believe anything. What we're being told on this planet, I think it's 90% of it is
no,
an illusion, is deception.
yeah. I think that you are right. Like the truth is something that only you understand in your own heart,
Yeah.
and because it just relates back to you, and your heart is, what even is your heart? What does that mean?
I think that the
What do
heart,
you mean? What is it? It's something in our experience, isn't it? Of
yeah.
reality.
When we go to school and we're taught that the brain is the most important organ, whatever, it's the most important thing.
Mm,
I think this is completely wrong, and that's part of the deception as well. The heart sends more information to the brain and the rest of the body than the brain does. The heart is the first organ that is formed in the fetus. It's the last thing that beats before you go. I think the heart is, how to say, imagine this is the throne. The head is the throne, right? And we put the brain on the throne, and the brain wants to rule, wants to dictate everything. And do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But if you rewire yourself in the way, the stuff that I learned when I was channeling, higher realms, when I had my spiritual awakening, where you need to place the heart on the throne. And when you try to do that, your heart tells you, I don't want to be on the throne, because your heart is humble. Your heart is telling the truth. Your heart is always righteous, right? And but then you need to start rewiring yourself. We're saying, okay, let the brain believe that it's sitting on the throne, but I'm always going to check with my heart before I say anything, think anything, do anything. I'm
Mm.
always going to check with my
So
heart
using
first.
both together, your head and your heart. Use
Exactly.
both of them.
So the secret to manifestation, really what it is to
Yeah. Mm.
ally thoughts, emotion, feelings, and actions.
Yeah, align yourself. And if you align your head and your heart, bro, you've done it, haven't you? Like
Yeah.
you can achieve whatever you want to, really. If you truly align your head and your
Yeah.
heart. Deep, brother, deep. Come on.
So how do let's go back to Muay Thai a little bit. how how does the heart relate
Mm,
to Muay Thai, to fighting, to your training?
mhm.
What do you think is the most important as a fighter? Is it the heart or is it the brain? Is it a
The heart.
combination of both?
It's the heart.
It's the heart, isn't
100%.
it? I do agree with you 100%. That
No doubt.
The
It is
heart
the
has
heart.
got its own intelligence. The intelligence of the heart is infinite compared to the intelligence of the brain that we only use a tiny portion of.
Maybe like everything that we're talking about, Muay Thai martial arts, is just a one way to develop the heart
Yeah,
and to be in
100%.
tune with your own heart. And I think that's what it goes back to, doesn't it? Because the heart is like the most important thing that you've got.
Mm,
And if you've got, people always do the saying, isn't it? Oh, he's got the heart for it.
mm,
Sure, she's got the heart for it. She's not got the heart for it. He's not got the heart for it. What does that mean? That means that that desire, that that core, that passion is there for whatever it is.
mm,
And that's there when you're aligned to it. Do you know what I mean? If you're not aligned to something, your heart doesn't want to go there. You're not going to go down whatever
yeah,
that path is.
yeah,
Because right now, you could sit there, you could sit as a person, you can literally do a million things. You
yeah,
could move to a different country. You could, surround yourself with different people. You could watch complete different things. You could learn, listen to different music. You could try and learn different things, all kinds of like walks of life, right?
yeah,
But you don't. Why is everyone on their own? Because that's where
yeah,
your heart is. Yeah, that's where your direction is. Because for your own reason, that only you kind of understand and no one else kind of
mm,
does the same way you do. You're drawn to that direction and you want to go there
yeah,
because you believe that this, well, not that you believe, but it's almost like your heart knows that it needs to be there in a way. It's like your intuition, isn't it?
yeah. I've heard quite a few of the biggest names in the world of fighting, right? Like the biggest fighters, people like Mike Tyson and a few other people that said that combat sports are a very, very lonely sport, right? Can you
Yeah,
relate to that statement?
yeah,
Why
100%.
why why is it a lonely thing? Why is it a lonely sport? Muay Thai or boxing or MMA?
Because at the end of the day, no one really cares.
Mm,
Genuinely. At the end of the day, who actually cares?
mm,
Only you do.
yeah.
That's why. And it's quite a scary thing to acknowledge because
Mm,
sometimes you think, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that. But at the end of the day, no one actually cares as much as you do about it.
yeah.
And that's the way it is. But
Mm,
in a way, that's a beautiful thing, I think, because it's just a beautiful thing, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Like, you know, I think that's why it's called the only sport. Because
yeah,
let's say when people watch the TV and like millions of people watching Floyd Mayweather fight, right? They're a lot of people they just sat there, they don't actually understand who that person is, what
yeah,
they've been through,
yeah,
all the hours they've done to get to that point, and the sacrifices, the weight cutting, all that,
yeah, yeah.
and the running, the moments of dark and all that. They're sat there comfortable, having a nice glass of wine, chilling, and they're doing their thing. Do you know what I mean?
Do you
Having
know
a nice
what's
packet of crisps, and then they're like they're not on that wavelength with
yeah?
you know.
Do you know one thing that just does my head in sometimes is I read comments online, from the keyboard warriors and stuff
You
saying,
shouldn't even
"Oh,
read them, man. Don't
like
even read.
say, like two professional fighters just had a fight. One
Yeah,
guy got the best of the other, right? And a lot of people are going to jump on the person that lost, saying, "Oh, he's shit. He's like a shit fighter." It's like if he's a shit fighter, then get in the ring with him,
I
right?
know, bro.
Yeah,
That's a pet peeve of mine.
yeah, for the guy to be on this ring to fight a world title and you calling him a bad fighter, get in the fucking ring with him and see how bad he is.
I know, but
It's mad
I
that
know it's absolutely stupid.
disrespectful and
Yeah,
ignorant.
I know
Yeah, that
it
is.
is. Yeah,
So
that does annoy me.
okay,
The Muslims and shit.
I got things. We're gonna circle back to stuff that we've been talking about because, to be honest with you, today we're improvising. The conversation is flowing as it is, and as you say stuff, I'm like ding, and I'm just writing for future questions.
Hmm.
What I'm gonna ask now is
Yeah,
about how fascinated adrenaline is to me, and that's why my school is called Adrenaline Combatives, right?
true.
Um, how do you learn to override your adrenaline and use it. So, like for example, like a friend of mine that you might know, Russell Jarmesti. He's got a martial art academy near not Wigan, can't remember exactly where, but he's also organizing fights. He's got like MMA fighters and stuff like that. And he
Yeah.
said about adrenaline that adrenaline is liquid gold. It's like it's your own biochemical cocktail that allows you to fight harder, jump higher, run faster. You know,
Mm,
so
no,
how do you override with adrenaline? How do you desensitize yourself to adrenaline? I already know the answer to that question, but for our viewers,
yeah.
and in turn, by learning to override your adrenaline, how do you manage to stay completely calm, collected, and relaxed when somebody is trying to take your head off and break your legs?
So I see it as, yeah, staying relaxed. But how do you stay relaxed? You can't just be relaxed.
Mm,
You being relaxed is a result of something else.
yeah.
It's a result of what you're seeing. Let's say when you're in a fight and someone's coming at me, and I've obviously got adrenaline.
Mm,
It's understanding that I can take my time. And I know it sounds very simple,
mm,
but it's a very powerful thing. If you just understand, if you really understand when you're fighting, that you've got 3 minutes in that one round to
mm,
work, you know. And then, but I think for me, the adrenaline overrides you when you're so overcome with everything and like everything's happening right that second. And
mm-hmm.
you get like that adrenaline dump and that rush. And I've even had it in the gym, like when I'm hitting pads and like I get too like worked up, and then a minute after it, I'm like, I feel like, oh, I've got no energy. I feel like dead. Do you know what I mean? I've
Mm-hmm.
got like 2 minutes left, but it's because I've like not managed that like as well as I could have. So I think when it comes to managing it, it's being present mentally and psychologically, being present in the zone that you're in.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you almost take control of the situation,
Yeah.
you know. And I think it goes back to a fear thing as well. When if you're in that high intense situation of a fight or escaping or whatever it is, and your fear is taken over, then your adrenaline kicks in. If you don't manage your fear, it's gonna offset everything. So
Yes.
that's why I think when I talk about being present, you can only be present when you don't have fear,
Yeah.
right?
Agreed.
So
So
if you have too much fear, you're not present because you're in your head.
yeah.
You're like you're everything's off. So if you can be present in that situation without the fear, you almost accept it. You go into it,
Yeah.
then you can manage your adrenaline better and almost treat it like an ordinary thing,
Mm-hmm.
like that
Yeah.
I'm doing right now. Does that make sense?
So you see,
Yeah.
when we speak about presence, and presence was written a bit lower, presence is definitely something I want to speak about.
Yeah.
It's something that I am evolving with. If you remember Bruce Lee back in the old days when he was still alive, he was trying to explain to us how to be present when you're fighting, how to be in tune with the universe. See the way
Mhm.
that he was moving, he was like flowing like water, like the wind, you know what I mean? He was merging with the universe, being completely present with the situation.
Mhm.
Like in Japanese, they call that mushin, no mind, just focused presence, right? I especially recently, I've made a lot of progress with this. I've started meditating. Like yesterday, I meditated for about 20 minutes. No thoughts, just using Eckhart Tolle. You know Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now.
Mhm.
So using because I think he's only one of the only way that works for me is what I've learned from him. So I did a few guided meditation with him,
Mhm.
and at first being present is so weird because at first when I was being present, I was just being focusing on my inner energy field. And when you do that, you start feeling your fingers vibrating, and then your hand, and then your feet, then your head. And if you keep that feeling and you keep focus inward, your whole body starts vibrating. And when you focus inward, there's no thoughts. The thoughts sometimes
Yeah.
try to come in, but because you're being present, you see them and you're like, I'm going back to my presence, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, my first difficulty when I was doing this was to breathe. I would be present, but I would hold my breath. And then when I would remember, oh shit, I need to breathe. And when I started to breathe, I lost presence, and the thoughts come again in my head. But
Mm,
now I've managed to learn to breathe and be present at the same time. And I'm
mm,
teaching myself to be present while my eyes are open, while I'm looking around, be present while I'm talking to somebody, being present. But yet I've yet to learn how to be present when I'm fighting, right? And I think
mm.
that's super important
I'm
because
still learning, man. I'm
yeah,
still learning how to do that. You know,
because being
don't
present,
1 second think that I'm like I've got everything figured out.
yeah,
I'm
because
learning.
when you're present when nothing is happening, it's relatively easy, right? But being
Yeah.
present when stress hits you, when bad situation hits you, when anger hits you, when indignation hits you, when all that
Mm.
stuff hits you, I think this is the real skill of a fighter, is learning to
Then
be
you really
present.
understand how present you are
Yeah.
and how you can manage your own stress and stuff. So
Mm,
that's why I think fighting is like a catalyst
yeah.
for development in that way.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you gotta if you can't be present there, then how present can you actually be? It's a test,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's alright sitting on a mountain in a perfect little place and everything's all perfect and everything's fine. Oh yeah, but of course you're gonna feel present, aren't you?
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
So, but then when you're in a stressed environment, and if you can then be present then you can obviously be even more present outside of that.
Yeah.
Logically. So I think it comes to acceptance, definitely
Mm,
acceptance, lack of fear, um, accepting the fact of loss, accepting the fact of injury, accepting pain,
yeah. Yeah.
accepting that you're walking into a fire, basically, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Um, then you can thrive in that zone. But if you don't accept it, you're not in that zone. You're not even in it
Yeah.
because you're too scared. And that's something that I think people don't talk about enough.
I,
Is just
that,
being scared, bro.
that is the heart.
Especially as men, everyone wants to look externally. I'm not scared. I'm not this, you know. But I'm telling you now, everyone is scared of stuff. Everyone has fears. Don't
Yeah.
care who you are. Don't care if you're freaking Mike Tyson. He's just a person. We're all just
Yeah. Yeah.
people. You know, and it's like if you can accept, you can never walk in that zone, that high pressure situation if you don't first know that you are actually scared.
Yeah.
If you actually acknowledge, oh, I'm fucking terrified of this. This is scary. Then you can't go past that,
Yeah.
and that's what the ego blocks you from doing because it's hard to accept that as a man. I'm going to be scared of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's the growth there. You're
Yeah.
accepting it, and you're becoming more of a man. But obviously, that's a gender thing. But as a person, growth.
Do you know, like, I know that a lot of people,
Hmm.
generally spiritual people, I've generally find that fighters are very in touch with their spirituality because of that. And the fact that some people seek certain activities, like the people that climbing mountains without ropes, like crazy
Yeah.
people, like
Oof, that's
Spider-Man.
fucking.
That guy, they call him the Spider-Man. He's climbing buildings with nothing, with
My hands are sweating right now.
yeah,
Honestly.
exactly. But these people are doing that because of the adrenaline, because the adrenaline is taking them out of their mind and bringing them into a present state. So
Mm,
I can explain that. So when I was fighting, obviously not near your level, as you know, but when I was doing a bit at All Powers Gym or before that at the G Camp, and I realized that I had that fear. As I was preparing and going through the camp, it was really hard. It did bring me some degree of confidence, but
yeah,
I remember saying that to you, the first time. I said, I'm actually fucking scared, of
yeah,
fighting.
yeah.
And even though I had a lot of like street fights and stuff like that, every time I'm scared, I managed to get on the other side and do quite well in most cases. But it's like I got that fear, right? And I remember as I was getting warmed up, and there was like hundreds of people around that ring, and who was it? It was Josh Turble. Josh.
Mm,
Josh Turble was took me on the pad, and Bilal Remy was there, so they were both cornering me, and as I got there, and I think it was Mike Dagley as well that did the
Mm,
ropes for me and everything, and it was all like a ritual. And in my head, I was really trying to, stay calm and stuff. And in my head, I was like, I don't want to look bad. You know what I mean? I got to go there and do the business and just, try
yeah,
and get to the best mental and emotional state I can be.
yeah,
And when I stepped on the ring, I think one part of me is I also wanted to prove to the coaches, to the guys cornering me that, I'm not
hmm,
scared, I can do this. So I made myself confident. And that's the proof that you can make yourself by changing your physiology, like
exactly.
Tony Robbins says, by changing your physiology, you can change your mindset. And when I got to the ring and my music was playing and I got to the ring, and I was kind of conscious of everybody looking, and there was a bit that stress, that peer pressure, the coaches, the corner, the fighter, all that stuff. And when the bell went, it all fucking disappeared. Everything disappeared. Like there was nothing on my mind. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
that's a way to. It brings you into presence. Fighting brings you into presence. There's no two ways about it. Some
yeah,
people like to
it's
meditate,
supposed to.
some people like to get in the ring and fight. And I found this is what happened to me when the bell went, everything disappeared. The people disappeared. And unfortunately, to a certain extent, I started to listen to the coaches a bit more. But my first Inter club, for example, right, I couldn't hear nothing what the coach was saying. He was shouting at me, Julian, why are you doing this? Do this, do that, do this. Do that. I couldn't hear nothing. Then I watched the video and I realized, oh shit, he was actually talking to me all along. Yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
So how do you manage? How do you manage to be present in the fight and take all that shit and try to win and listen to your corner? So do you remember that there
I
was a
know.
video?
Yeah, no, no. It's the thing is, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
It's not a straightforward answer.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's there's not an answer that you can just take it and then do it.
Yeah.
It's something you just got to figure out.
It takes time and it to build up.
You got to figure it out, man.
Mm.
And bro, everyone's the same. When I started, I couldn't listen. It's just a skill you develop
Mm-hmm.
by doing it. And I think that's the key thing is sometimes it's about just doing it,
Yeah.
physically doing it over and over again. And then just be willing to improve
Mm-hmm.
and then figure it out. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and then you will get better at it. Some people might naturally just be good at it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because people are different. Some people might learn faster.
Yeah.
Some people might not even learn it at all and just be different.
Yeah.
So it's something you've just got to figure out. But if you're not present, then you can't listen. Yeah, if you're fighting and you're not present, you can't listen to your coaches.
Yeah.
Or at least it's
Straight up.
very difficult to. So that's why, in order to listen to coaches, you've got to be present. And in order to be present, you can't be scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in order to not be scared, you need to be what?
The heart, yeah.
Yeah. So that's goes back to. So if you don't want to kind of understand that, then yeah, it'll be harder.
What
That's what I
what
think.
about fight IQ? So, do you reckon fight IQ is something that you're born with, or is something that you develop? I know the answer to that question, but once again, for the
Mm.
viewers,
I think fight IQ it relates back to it's obviously related to your general intelligence anyway.
yeah,
If you're just because genetically some people well we're all at different levels, aren't we?
wired a
Everyone's
different way.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah. So everyone's at maybe slightly higher or less intelligence. Then whatever intelligence you do have, if you choose to fight, then that's going to play into you as a fighter.
yeah,
If you're already naturally intelligent and then you also fight, then mate, gotta be careful on that guy because I'm telling you now,
yeah,
like he's also intelligent as well, and they make the best fighters. That's what I think.
yeah,
People
yeah,
who are more intelligent fight better.
yeah,
They're smarter. They're
yeah.
faster. The mindset's better. And
That's
people don't always understand that because they think to be a fighter, it's just about being a tough guy. And
mm-hmm,
it's about being like this hard-faced guy who can just get smacked around and all this and take any punishment. But that's not a smart way to fight,
mm-hmm,
and it's not healthy either. because I think you as well as a fighter, you need to be healthy with it.
Yeah.
So that's because when you fight, you take shots to the brain, bro. You take shots to the head. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want to take shots to the head. You
Yeah.
just don't. No one does. I don't care what it says. But
Yeah.
if you don't have to take a shot to the head, don't take a shot to your brain because your brain's very important.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But luckily with Muay Thai, the concussion's very low really because you have a lot of other strikes and most strikes are knockout strikes. Do you know what I mean? So if you get knocked out, then that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The CT comes from repeated
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over, which is most of the time in the gym anyway.
Yeah.
You know, because a fight is only what 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about pro boxing, which is a different sport. You know, 12 rounds is a long time.
It's really about intellect on one side and emotional intelligence on the other side, isn't it? In a fight.
Emotional intelligence.
By that,
Yeah,
when I
I'd
say
say so.
emotional intelligence, I mean you don't let your emotion get the best of you in a fight.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, whether
Mm.
it's anger or fear or whatever. You know,
So
yeah, you don't. Mm,
interesting topic of conversation. I
mm,
see two different ways of thinking when it comes to combat sports and when it comes to combatives, right? But by combatives, I mean the stuff that's taught to soldiers, to go behind enemy line and just win and just,
mhm,
take a life if need be, but win. Is I was yes. So basically, in the sportive platform is the ability to remain completely calm, collected, so that you can start thinking under pressure and develop that fight IQ, which I
yeah,
think is very, very, very important. And a lot of people don't have that. And then on the other side, in combatives, there is this aggression. Like you need to put the aggression out there, but not red mist, not anger, not hate. That shit will blind you and make you do mistakes. I'm
mhm,
talking about controlled, unleashed, cold, clinical aggression, right?
yes,
And now people seem to think that it's either one or the other. Now, when you become really smart and you understand both and you bring both together, where
yeah,
at the surface, you look fucking aggressive and crazy, and that way you're gonna deal with certain people psychologically as well. But in the
mhm,
inside, the storm is only on the outside, but the inside of the storm, the eye of the storm is quiet, super collected, super
yeah,
relaxed.
yeah. You're right. Yeah,
What do you think about this?
I think you're right. Absolutely right. And when it comes to that,
Because I'm looking at you.
it's about balance. Sorry, go on. Go on.
Yeah,
What were
yeah.
you gonna say? Go on.
Sorry, no,
Go on.
I'm looking at you when you fight. The few fights that I've seen, where
Mhm,
you seem really calm, collected, and focused. Right?
mhm,
I see the aggression in the shots. I see it, but it's not. It's really that calm feeling of I'm here, I'm present. This is what's coming to me, and I'm dealing with it the best way I can, and I'm
yeah.
successful with it.
But you can't be. It's very straightforward. When you're standing in front of someone fighting, if you're intimidated, then you're not calm.
Mm,
If you are intimidated, you're not calm. So
mm-hmm.
you can't let that person, first of all, intimidate you.
Yeah,
So that's a mental thing.
yeah,
So you have to know that they're not going to win. You have to know
yeah, yeah,
that fact first. Then you can be calm.
yeah,
Then you can be then clinical and have the clinical aggression to execute that person. And that's
yeah.
how I be inside a fighter's mindset, how I think I'm thinking I'm gonna this is gonna sound crazy by the way, but you have as a fighter, you have to think like this. You have to be aggressive minded
Mm-hmm.
in that situation. And
Yeah.
it's about unlocking that aggression that's there
Mm,
already. Because everyone's got it and you focus in it like you said, in to execute that person or
mhm,
to execute those strikes, those
mhm,
lethal strikes to win, you know,
and
and
keeping
to
it under
show
control.
that. And that's a skill. That's
Yeah,
actually a skill. It's not just like I'm punching it,
yeah.
you know, like you
So
said. And I
as
think when you put those together, um, the aggression and the emotional skills of understanding how you work and when you're intimidated and how and not being intimidated, and regulating your emotions better, then you'll be a better fighter.
Yeah, no, mate, I do agree with all of it. I think it's a lifelong process, isn't it? You're always spiral learning back to it all.
Yeah.
So, um,
Mm.
I'm just looking at. Are you good with time, Dan?
I maybe like
Just
20
tell
minutes,
me.
15, 20.
15, 20 minutes. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Let's evolve into something different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
The other thing is economy of energy. So I remember Panikos telling me you need to learn to pace yourself. You need to learn sometimes to come out of the fighting zone and assess and then come back in and
Mm.
win time as well, win a bit of time, right?
Yeah.
Um, how do you go about that? How do you go about economizing yourself when
Mm.
somebody's trying to take your head off and break your legs?
uh, First of all, very basically, is by understanding what techniques to do
Mm-hmm.
and understanding the technique. For example, on the ranges, yeah, that's like the very, very surface level of it, is understanding, okay, I can push kick you away. If I move back, then that's a little bit of a rest.
Mm-hmm.
You can rest a bit. And then secondly, I think also having the presence of mind and awareness to know that you can do it and you can rest and not seeing red.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to be in that zone for a minute, 2 minutes, going to come back out, you gassed out, you've lost your economy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those two things and confidence is related to it as well. You're a confident person,
Yeah.
mentally, physically confident fighter. You can, yeah, use that skill. Obviously, if your coaches have taught you that as well, you're going to know what that is. So that
Mm-hmm.
links back to your coaches. If our coaches never tell us that, we might never figure it out as
Yeah.
well. So lots of things go into it. And there's one more here. I think it's like understanding that when you're in that situation, because obviously you want to win that fight, right? It's understanding that in order to win, you don't just have to constantly fight. It's a bit of an understanding thing that I
Mm-hmm.
can win also by not just, you said it the other day, asymmetrically fighting that person until
Yeah.
they knock them out.
Yeah.
Because that might not be the best way to fight that person. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
in those 30 seconds of that round or that situation, you might need to adapt and do something different in order
Mm-hmm.
to then a minute later then do that. So it's understanding the little steps there, the
Yeah.
processes, and the advantages and disadvantages of doing different things and doing
Yeah.
it smartly as well.
Okay.
Mm,
What about defeat
mm.
and accepting defeat in the most healthy way possible? I think that's a very important thing for a fighter as well.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts on that?
I think when it comes to accepting defeat, just be real about it.
Mm,
Just be real about it, man. There's no worse thing than you've been defeated and you're trying to explain it in different ways.
yeah.
Yeah, just at the end of
In
the day,
your head, what's happening if you just suffered defeat
yeah.
in your head? Are you like, that's it, I'm going back to the gym, I'm going to train twice as hard? Or do you need
You
some
mean
time off? Do you need some time off to cool down a bit, cool down period before you get back in the gym? Or how do you process the defeat and get back in the gym and get back to your next fight?
mm, I think you know, I think it relates to your overall outlook on it.
Mm,
Because if you've never, I'm not going to say this. If you, were- It depends the context. So it depends how you were defeated. If you were defeated because the whole fight camp you didn't be held back a bit, you didn't cut weight properly, you weren't as motivated, you didn't care as much, and then you stepped in the ring and you lost, you know, then that's a bigger thing than just that one fight.
mm-hmm.
That relates to what your mindset is and the other things that are going on in your life and why you're like that. And
The
then that
ego
relates
fight.
into then, yeah, that relates into then what you do after it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to then have the drive the next day, "Oh, I'm back in the gym," because your mindset's not like that. And I've been there where I've had like a fight camp and I wasn't fully there with it. and I wasn't feeling it as much. And then I got beat when I stepped in the ring,
Mm.
and then that forced me to acknowledge that, oh yeah, you can, you know, you what's the best way to explain it? Like honestly, that's on me. That's my mistake. It's not
Yeah.
about, oh, this is and my coach's fault, and you
Yeah.
know,
A lot of
yeah,
people are like this. Yeah.
people say that, bro, and that is so wrong. And let me tell you now,
Mm-hmm.
anyone who says that and they'll then go to another gym and then go to another gym. You can go to a million gyms, take your
Yeah.
pick, bro.
Yeah.
Literally take your pick, and it'll be the same story
Mm-hmm.
because it's not about them, it's about you.
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
They say
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah,
change the world, you got to change yourself. You got to look within.
yeah. You have to,
Yeah.
and you have to just first accept that, and that yeah, you can actually as well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's not the end of the world. And just to finish that point as well, like about accepting defeat is like how I deal with it and stuff. Is like if at the end of the day, if you have given your all, then you'll walk out of that situation like okay, you'll walk out with your head high,
Mm.
and then you go have a nice pizza and a nice ice cream and chill. Do you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then you'll learn what you need to learn from it, and then depending on what your next step is, you'll take the next step.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, if your heart's in it and you've given your all, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good stuff, Dan.
yeah, man.
Just to wrap it up, what's the next step for you? Where are you going? What's your ambitions like? What where are you aiming at?
Oof, loads. First of all, my main aim. You mean as a person or as a coach or a fighter or what?
All of it. As a person, as a coach, as a fighter, as
Yeah,
a person, as a father, whatever.
yeah.
Anything that you
Like
want, bro.
I'd say to stay aligned to myself.
Aligned.
Yeah, just be aligned to myself, who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Keep and just like keep things real and make sure I'm happy with everything, like truly, as myself, and be present with people. That's something I'm trying like is very important to me at the minute, and one thing I'm focusing on is just be present with people, and
Mm.
it's so underrated. You know, it's just so underrated just to be present with people because most people, you know, do people listen very often?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And I think if you're more present, then you're going to develop more of a network. You're probably going to be more successful
Mm-hmm.
because you're understanding people, you're having conversations and stuff, and working as a team, different ways. So I'm trying to be more present with people and like just being consistent with my training for the right reasons, being balanced with it as well.
Yeah.
Uh, and like in terms of fighting next year, I want to be active next year, fighting like as many times as I can
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and keep pursuing my role as a coach because that's like really fulfilling and financially it's very good for me and I help people and I help myself when I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know the list goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
They're the main things. Yeah, the main things.
okay. So
Keep working
last
hard.
last question.
Yes, bro.
If if you had if you could send a message to the newer generations of this world, what would it be?
Uh, Stay true to yourself.
Say again.
Stay true to yourself.
That's a good one.
Uh, and also to not always follow everyone else and not be too. Don't try and please everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a big thing, bro.
Yeah.
Trying to please other people all the time, trying to be something that you're not, trying to please people. Don't do that. Do not do that. It's a bad idea. And to work hard and sometimes just shut up and work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need to shut up and get on with it as well. Sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing all that, we're making it together.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, that's what I'd say.
Awesome
Yeah.
stuff. Well, listen, thank you for your time. Thank you for the conversation. Is there anything you wish to plug in? I mean, do you have any fights coming here? Your private sessions.
No fights currently planned, but obviously I'll plug myself in the gym, all powers,
Yeah,
and everyone there. You know, if you want to learn discipline, martial arts, be part of an amazing group of people,
yeah,
and like pursue your goals and stuff,
yeah,
check out All Powers Gym in Stockport.
yeah.
And then if you would like any one-to-one coaching, come to me. You can find me on Instagram. Dan All Powers on Instagram. Message me, ask me any questions.
Awesome. Well, I can second what Dan is saying. That All Powers Gym is one of the best gym, if not the best gym I ever been training to, because of the nature of the people out there, and very much so is reflecting Panicos's mentality and personality.
Mhm.
And everybody's helping each other right there. There's very little ego in that gym. It's a family. We go there when we want. A lot of us become friends after training together for a while, and I can definitely second that anyone that wants to learn Muay Thai that's in Stockport or even around Stockport, go and visit All Powers Gym, because to me, it's one of the best gyms in Europe, one of the best gyms in the world, and people like Panicos and yourself and Remy and the few, high level fighters that Panicos has created are a testament to the quality of the training. And not
Mhm.
only that, Panicos is an amazing human being. That's why I'm glad I can call him friend, like yourself. So yeah, man, seconding that.
Love that, man.
That is it.
Else maybe, or
My
you want?
turn to plug in something quickly.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
We got a seminar happening in January. It's on the 11th of January. I made a mistake before. I said it was on the 10th of January. No, it's on Sunday, the 11th of January, at All Powers Gym from 12 to 6 p.m. And we're going to have a look at how to deal with armed assault, somebody coming at you with a blade, basically, which is very relevant to what's happening in the world nowadays. People getting stabbed left, right, and center. Even here in Chittenden Hill last week, some 15-year-old kid got stabbed. So, yeah, plug in all this. New hoodies and t-shirts available, people. Anyone that wants some, just let me know. And classes, there's going to be weekly classes every Saturday at Mo's Gym in Crumpsall as well. I'll confirm the times. I think most probably is going to be between 10 and 12, 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. All good.
Oh, good, man.
Thank you so
Amazing
much,
podcast,
Dan.
yeah.
It was great, and we still got that project as well, Muay Thai for the street. So, guys,
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a look at how we can implement Muay Thai for the street. We've done a bit already with Dan. We're gonna do some more in the near future. So, anyone interested, check Dan's channel, check my channel, Adrenaline Combatives, and I will see you next time.
See you guys.
Dan, what
Thank
I'm
you.
going to do is I'm going to
Yeah.
end the stream, and I'm
Mhm.
going to chat with you for 2 minutes before we go. Is that good? For
Perfect.
now, we say goodbye to everyone. Thank you very much for
Perfect.
watching, and see you next time.